Hey, it's Roger from the Healing Warrior program. You can heal your life now. Many times, the problems you have today, whether you're overweight, whether you've got chronic asthma, whether you've got cancer, whether you've got any chronic disease, because they still can't find a cure for chronic disease, insurance companies know that if a person's got chronic disease, whether it be chronic heart disease, cancer, MS, muscular pain, joint pain, whatever it is, that they know they're going to have to pay out on it next year because it's just a consistent thing that there's no cure for chronic disease apparently. The real roots of chronic disease, it goes into your unconscious mind, and it's understanding about how to work with your emotions, unresolved emotions, especially from childhood. Now, the interesting thing is, and the message of this video today is that the way you are in your life now, right now, may definitely not be your fault. It may definitely not be your fault because the time between conception and birth, at 9 months, the fetus in the womb as it's growing to be a baby, is 100% unconscious mind, and it's absorbing everything from the mother and father. So everything that your mother and father went through, the way they spoke to you as a baby, whether they nurtured you, whether they had big fights, whether they were in a new country and they were very uncertain, that all passes on to the child. You know, if you can really just trace it back to understanding how your parents were when they first got together. And if you look at the many relationships in the world today, there's very few that are very stable and very cool. A lot of the time, couples fight and they're just getting to know each other, and it's just a really hard time of things. So this passes on to the baby. So you may be growing up, especially if you were adopted out, and your mother at the time of adopting you out had all these uncertain emotions and didn't know what to do, and all these guilt feelings and all that, and that would have passed on to you as a child, and as an adult today, and that may be manifesting in your life. Now, the beauty of this is that you can change your destiny. You can totally go back and work through these emotions, because the interesting thing about survival emotions is they're trying to protect you and keep you safe. So if you have rampant guilt, anger, shame issues, if you have rampant sort of frustration, disappointment, pessimism running through you, it's actually protection mechanisms, because your unconscious mind only holds on to stuff which it perceives is going to keep you safe in the future. It's had a bad experience in the past and it wants to keep you safe in the future. Now, that's your unconscious mind, and what happens is you build up so much through your experiences of life that it manifests in chronic disease later. I've read many stories about cancer survivors, and this is not all, this is just some, but cancer survivors, their parents actually having a talk, being a fetus in the womb, or being an unborn child in the womb, and hearing their parents talk about having an abortion and discussing, and discussing and having a heated debate about having an abortion, while the unborn child is listening to that. So the child grows up with this unconscious program in their unconscious mind, but that they don't deserve to live, they're not wanted, they don't deserve to be around, they don't deserve to be alive. Now, this is an unconscious program. Now, I'm not saying this, I'm just saying there's some therapists who've written books about it, and they've worked through with patients, and once the patient was able to regress back to that moment when the parents was having that discussion, they were able to spontaneous remission where they were completely healed, or they're on the pathway to healing. So really, your unconscious mind is the root of all your healing, all your happiness and all your sadness in your life is your unconscious mind, and that's where I work. I work, and I've spent a lot of time in this, especially for my own healing and understanding why I was the way I was, why I self-sabotaged, why I would go so close to achieving a goal and then I would pull back at the last minute. I don't know if you can identify with that. And why I had chronic back pain for many, many years and went to see chiropractors and physios and all that kind of stuff, massage therapists, and why I had chronic asthma until just quite recently and got rid of it. And it's about understanding the unconscious mind and the role that these survival emotions play in your life. And once you can work through these survival emotions with the help of a qualified therapist, someone who really knows their stuff and really knows the unconscious mind, then you're on the path to healing. So this is Roger from Healing Warrior. You can heal your life now. Have an awesome day. Keep in touch.